Good morning and welcome to Walk Before You Run. Today has been one of those technical days trying to get on and everything is going crazy. But I wanted to talk about the great provider because that's what God is. He is a great provider. And I just want to use a few verses, and it may even seem kind of different as to why I'm using these verses, but when I was reading it, that's what I thought about. I thought about God as such a great provider. And I'm looking at Isaiah 41, verses 17 through 20. 17 through 20. And I just want to talk about him being a great provider. Verse 17 says, when the poor and needy seek water, and there is none, and their tongue faileth for thirst. I, the Lord, will hear them. I, the Lord of Israel, will not forsake them. I just want to stop right there. It says, when the poor and needy seek water. Now, we know that water is one of the things that we need in life in order to sustain life. So, not just when the poor and the needy, when we think of them, we think of someone who's less fortunate than we are. But when we are thirsting after righteousness, when we are just thirsty, period, we all are the same. Those who are richer than we are, those who are poorer than we are all the same. And when you are thirsty, truly thirsty, only one thing can quench that thirst, and that is water. Good morning, my friend. And Jesus is that living water. It says, when the poor and needy seek water, and there is none, and their tongue faileth for thirst. I, the Lord, will hear them. I, the Lord of Israel, will not forsake them. When you are thirsty and there is no water around, it doesn't matter how much money you have, how much money you don't have, your thirst cannot be quenched if there is no water. And so um, God says that when you are in that predicament, when you are thirsting, when you are in need, he said, I will be that great provider. Right there, it says, the God of Israel will not forsake thee. That means that when I'm in need, he's going to be right there to make sure that my need is met. 18 says, I will open rivers in high places and foundations in the midst of the valleys. I will make the wilderness a pool of water and the dry land springs of water. Sometimes it seems like there is no answer for the problems that we face. Sometimes it seems like there is no hope. But God says, when there is no hope, I will be the answer for that situation, that circumstance, whatever you're going through. And look at what it says. It says, I will open rivers in high places and fountains in the midst of the valley. So it doesn't matter how high you are or how low you are. God says, I will be your great provider for that one thing that you need in order to sustain life, for you to thrive, for you to be able to go and not stop. 19 says, I will plant in the wilderness the cedar, the shittim tree, and the myrtle, and the all tree. I will set in the desert the fern tree and the pine, the box tree together. When I looked at those trees, now people who know me know I am a tree hugger, I am a tree lover for life. I've been that way since I was a kid. But when I was reading, I got to that one verse and I started looking up the different trees and what they were. And I put my book over there, what they were and what they gave us. And every tree gave us something that we needed. I looked up the cedar tree and it talked about how big it grows and how strong the wood is. and how it can be so big that it can protect the other trees from the wind. You know how hard wind can blow. Wind can blow so hard it can uproot a tree. And so the cedar grows tall and strong, and it serves as protection for the other trees. That wasn't the only thing that it did, but that was just one of the things. The shittim tree and the myrtle tree and the all tree, those trees gave us various things we need for medicinal purposes. The oil tree, I looked it up and I was researching it, and one of the trees that it showed me in the place of just saying oil tree was the Oregon oil tree. And it grows in Morocco. And we get this oil that is used for many things, for beauty products, for cooking, and you get the oil from the seed of the tree. And they said that the best way to get the oil out was old fashioned way. Sometimes we think new improved is the better thing, but they were saying the best way is the old fashioned way. But I just looked at these trees and they give the carbon dioxide and changes it into oxygen so that we can breathe and live. Trees also provide wood for shelter. They provide pulp for paper, such as paper towels and toilet tissue and tissues. And so they provide so many things. The bark of the trees can be used for a number of things: ink, dye, medicine. And so I just looked at all these different trees, and some of them are good for eating. You know, the myrtle tree talked about the berries of the myrtle tree. People don't eat them often, but they are edible. It talked about the fern tree and the oils and the aromatherapy that you can get from those trees. So these trees provided every and anything that you needed. And he said that I will plant them in the wilderness. Sometimes when it seems like you're so far away from everything you need, that can be a wilderness for you. And God says that when you are in your wilderness, I will be that provider that will give you everything that you need. And so I also wanted to take a look at verse 20. Verse 20 says that they may see and know and consider and understand together that the hand of the Lord had done this, and the Holy One of Israel had created it. All the things that God provides for us is so that we will know and others will see and know that He is the great provider, that anything that His children need, He will be that for them. And when others who don't honor Him as God, who don't come to Him as Father, when they see that, that gives them a wanting and a desire to have what we have, hopefully. And they will come seeking what must they do also to be saved and to be protected and provided for by the great provider. And so I found so much in these few verses. And that's just the way the Word of God is. Everything we need to know, everything we need to do is right here in the Word of God. So all you have to do is walk in His Word before you run out and do whatever it is that pleases you and especially pleases our Father. Thank you for joining me today. Remember that you are blessed to be a blessing to someone else because we are vessels of God. And when He pours into our life, we can only hold so much. And that overflow is so that someone else can be blessed. So make sure that you present yourself to God as an empty vessel to be used by Him so He can pour into your life, and that overflow can be a benefit to someone else. I'll see you next time. And make sure that you walk before you run, and make sure that you share your blessings with someone else.